of the PNW. People.
I'm an artist, filmmaker, DJ, writer.
All these opportunities you'll see through my photos is just a gift, and I appreciate every time I get to photograph something because it just warms my heart.
Well, this is probably going to be hilarious.
We were very fortunate to sit down with the University of Maryland Eastern Shore alum and Hall of Famer Talvin Skinner, who was part of the 1973-1974 Hawk men's basketball team. In fact, a media team has filmed a documentary about the 50th anniversary of the NIT Tournament and his induction to the Maryland State Athletic Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
What is the NIT? The National Invitation Tournament is an annual men's college basketball tournament operated by the National Collegiate Athletic Association, the NCAA. The tournament is played at regional sites with its Final Four played at Madison Square Garden in New York City up until 2022. Starting in 2023, the NIT Final Four began following the format of the NCAA tournament by having its Final Four at different venues each season. How is Talvin Skinner one of our people of the PNW?
Yeah.
Well, he was drafted by the Seattle Supersonics in the 1974 NBA draft.
The what?
1974.
Seattle Supersonics!
Eighth pick.
Bring him back.
They should.
Eighth pick of the third round. He played with the Supersonics for 2 seasons, starting part of the 1975-76 season. But let's hear from the man himself when we sat down to chat with him at Drum Roll Wine in Renton, Washington.
Talvin Skinner, third round, 44th pick for the Sonics, 1974 to 1977. As an athlete, if you're really dedicated to something and you really want to do it bad enough, the area where I come from didn't offer a lot of opportunity, but I think I was so focused on wanting to become a professional basketball player, and I had so much knowledge of the game of basketball until if someone had taken it away, I don't know what I would have done. I was always a loner kid. My mother passed when I was very young, so I kind of gravitated to sport, and it worked out for me. I went on to Worcester High School where all of my peers went to Stephen Decatur. I stayed at Worcester. I was the only one to stay there. I'll never forget. I had the highest scoring game in the county of Worcester County. I scored 63 points in 17 minutes in a JV game. It was a true story. Basketball saved my life because I grew up without a mother. And so it kept me focused. I don't know where I would have been without basketball. I don't know what I would have done.
Just get a phone call. Hey, Talvin, we want to do this thing. Can you fly out? We're going to tell your story.
50 years later, yeah.
Wow.
It was quite an amazing time.
Had you been back to the auditorium? Had you been back to the school?
I've been back to the school,
Okay.
but the thing is that the story has been buried for 50 years and no one ever talks about it. And we had probably the greatest HBC basketball team during that time. That's what the documentary was about, trying to tell the story about what happened during that period of time. I remember right in here, we all were practicing and coach came in and said they weren't gonna let us in. So we had a decision to make. He didn't ask us, but they made a decision. It was either go to the NIT or go back to Kansas City. I'm pretty sure if we went back to Kansas City, we would have won the national championship. I guess the decision was made by the MEAC and the university to break down barriers, racial barriers, color barriers, or whatever, however you want to put it. And so we went to the NIT, and we were the first historical black college to play in the NIT.
This also was the first team, the first black college team ever to be invited to the National Invitational Tournament. This little group out of Princess Anne did something magical, and the man at the center of it all was Talvin Skinner, the MEAC Player of the Year.
Our arenas that we played in at that time probably held about maybe 2,000. The biggest arena probably held maybe 3,000 people, but they would move, when we played, they would move our games from 3,000 seat arenas to civic centers, Greensboro Coliseum, Baltimore Civic Center. They moved our games because everybody wanted to see us play. I guess in the state of Maryland, when they mention the name Skinner, it's synonymous with excellence, greatness. In my senior year, we were 27-2, and we led the nation in scoring, with second leading behind Oral Roberts. That was the year of Bill Walton, David Thompson, and all the all-time greats, and no three-point line. And 4 of the members off of that team got drafted into the NBA.
When you got your name called after everything, when you went through high school, you went through college, and your name got called, what was that first feeling?
Okay, so this is different now than it was back then. They probably just brought the people to New York who were going to be drafted in the first round. So I didn't even know that I had gotten drafted until my Billy Gordon, William Gordon, who was my teammate, actually told me. He actually went down to Madison Square Garden to the draft. I didn't even know I had gotten drafted. And he came back to the apartment when we were in New York and told me that I had gotten drafted. And but before that, I had gotten drafted in the 3rd round by the New York Nets with Julius Erving. And I'd actually went out and visited them. So they, as a matter of fact, they drafted me before the Sonics drafted me. So I had already been drafted into professional basketball. So I was already it kind of made things kind of easy because I knew that I would at least be playing professional basketball at the college. And then the Sonics drafted me in the 3rd round. When I came to Seattle, it was, first of all, it was kind of weird because I'm on one coast, so I'm going from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast. So it's almost like going from, I'll put it like this, it's like going from Seattle, Washington to Miami, Florida. So it's like from peak to peak. So I actually flew in, and Anita Diaz, Russell's secretary, picked me up at the airport. But flying in, I just noticed, I was like, wow, I have a car. And I get my car to Seattle, I got to drive through all these mountains. And so I was trying to figure out how I'm going to get my car to Seattle. So that was the first thing that went through my mind. But when I got off the plane and Anita picked me up and took me down to the Sonic office and took me down to the Town Motel on, I think it was 6th Avenue. And when I got there, Slick was there and Thaddeus Gray. And we came in, and then Leonard Gray, who had been up for a couple of weeks, he came by, picked me up, and just started showing me Seattle, and we just hung out for a while.
Now, didn't Slick always wear a headband?
He did.
Did he have his headband on when you met him?
He did.
Did you ever drive your car over from Maryland? Did you navigate the mountains?
I didn't. I had it shipped.
Oh, that right. What made you decide, I'm going to stay in Seattle and I'm not going to go back?
More opportunity and the people, yeah.
And so when you worked at Boeing, did you do anything else within the sports industry in the Seattle area during those 37 years, or have you done anything since you retired from Boeing?
Yeah, I coached, I worked volunteer player development coach for the Seattle Storm for 5 years. I think in 2004, we won the WNBA championship under Ann Donovan and Jesse Kinlaw. We won the WNBA championship. Yeah.
So it came right back to basketball.
It's like I said, basketball saved my life. It's always been basketball. Just try to be the best person you can, live your life as Christ-like as possible. And
what an amazing story. What an incredible just gentleman, right? And the things that this man experienced, and then with the whole thing with getting here and not knowing Seattle and coming from Maryland and just figuring out things and embracing the city, right? I don't care when you got drafted, right? You got drafted. It's amazing, just incredible. Talvin, thank you so much for being a hero. A hero.
A people of the PNW
People
hero.
of the PNW. I love it. And also, can we give a big, huge shout out to drumroll Ronnery, Mad And Sunday, if you haven't been to Drum Roll, where the hell have you been? Where you been getting your wine from? Go to Drum Roll, Renton, Washington. Love it. Beautiful place. Wonderful thing.
I don't think we could have said it any better.
You couldn't have. You just got pecked in the head by now. Baby, go to Renton. Drum Roll Winery.
Yeah, we don't have no attack owls in Renton.
We don't.
Come
Your hair's safe.
Come visit
We just
Drum
have
Roll.
wine.
Your hair's safe.
Come visit Drum Roll. Enjoy their great
You should
wine.
and enjoy the atmosphere, the people. Every time we go, everybody's pleasant. Everybody's happy.
We always meet new Babble Buddies.
We always meet new Babble Buddies. Yeah, everybody. It's a great place. I think it's a wonderful place.
And their calendar is constantly changing. They'll have Sunday dinners. They will have musical events. They'll bring in entertainment. They'll have open mic. It's just fabulous. And
Why
they
would
have
you
a
not
lot.
go to a place
they
that
have a
doesn't-
lot on
yeah.
tap for 2025.
And they got live wine. Why would you not go to a place
yeah,
that doesn't have live wine?
go off into the corner and say, "May I have some live wine?"
Whoa, now you're living.
Yes, we have video of Larry trying
Not me.
the live wine.
And I'm still alive.
Thank you very much, Drumroll.
Thank you, Drum Roll.